As always, we jump into auditing your channels on vidIQ. And the first one we're going to look at here, Jeremy, has a huge problem with it because it is a channel which looks to be about a family vlog. That's what I would think from the thumbnails, but the channel banner doesn't seem to have that, so they're not really selling their heroes of a channel. Discuss. How do we start with like the right branding and messaging for a channel where a channel banner is involved?
I would definitely have if this is a family vlog, I would have the family there, you know, showing the whites of their eyes and making sure people can connect to the family themselves. Any vlog, the hero of the story is the family, is the person, right? So without showing the person, rising champions, the tagline that you've developed, which I love, by the way, doesn't really work. Also, if you want to get really meta, instead of showing rising champions, actually everyone wear those shirts so that you can sell merch better. Oh,
nice segue there onto merchandising already for a channel. All right, another thing that I want to look at for this channel as well. We'll get on some of the good stuff as well about this channel, but just something else I wanted to look at here, Jeremy. Notice here about 3 months ago, if you note the view counts here, they're in the thousands, 3,500, 10,000, 2,500. I hover over the likes and dislikes. Looks as if it's relatively low engagement rate, I would say, for the number of views. And then I scroll up to the top, we have views that are down in like the 50s, 100s. So what would you say is potentially happening here on the channel, and why that's not necessarily a good approach for channels that aren't trying to sell a product or a business per se?
Yeah, so it's perplexing, right? You went from 10,000 views on some videos to a few hundred. What am I going to ask you to do now, Rob?
You're going to ask me to sort by most popular. But what I think... Sorry, go on.
Go ahead.
I was going to say what I think is going on here is that the channels may be paid, done some like Google AdWords or something along those lines to promote the channel. And that's, in the long term, it's not going to build an audience. It's just going to get you views in that sense. But were you looking at something a little different here as we look at the most popular ones?
I mean, I will say like the 94 and 99%. It's pretty high. I'm not actually. I would have to disagree with you there. I'm not sure they are doing paid.
Well, I'm not saying what I think is, because usually a channel will get a like, dislike type of engagement for every 10 to 20 views.
Right.
So these feel a little low. It seems to me as if there is some pay going, but maybe you're arguing against that.
Well, the 2 points I would say is the engagement seems high to me from the surface, and these actually could be in like the YouTube Kids app where kids don't actually comment.
Potentially that is a good point, yeah. For me, it's just like we were getting thousands, 2,000, and then all of a sudden, like thousands here for like 10, 15 videos, and then all of a sudden it drops to 200, and then a rest after that. But I think we're getting a bit too into the whether this is sort of paid Google AdWords stuff or not.
Do me a favor and click on one of the videos. I want to see if the comments were disabled.
Okay,
any video.
All right, let's do this one. That's a good question. Yeah, you're thinking.
And why did I have that question?
Because in the last few months, YouTube have been clamping down, and not necessarily for the right reasons. I've been clamping down, so they are still getting comments. It looks to be on the most recent videos. I would suggest 33 comments for a 180 view video, which is pretty good. I wouldn't have any issues with that. Let's just do one from a few months ago as well. So this one's got 5,000 views. And sorry, if the person is watching the audit and you're in a live stream, do let us know if you decided to use this strategy or not. So comments were disabled for this video. Interesting.
Yeah, so my 2 cents, and if you guys notice, like we're first getting into the banner, then we get into the thumbnails a little bit, and we're like, okay, why is there so much discrepancy between views? That usually doesn't happen from 10,000 views. So what I know that some of you may not know, and so does Rob, is that YouTube has really been cracking down on any basically minors in videos. They have been, from an AI, programmatically disabling all comments on videos. I have a couple of questions. When YouTube really started cracking down on your channel, did they Did they send you an email? Did you get in trouble? Did any of your content get like flagged for something bad? Because typically with kids channels, they don't typically go from a lot of views to not a lot of views without something kind of detrimental happening from YouTube's side.
Interesting. Interesting behind the scenes discussion about the channel. Let's move on to some good stuff, Jeremy, about this channel. What I think in terms of each of the videos that the channel has done and the message that we're sort of seeing in the vibrancy and the energy that we're seeing in the thumbnails, there's definitely the type of... I can get the message of this channel from the thumbnails quite clearly here. It's a family vlogs story channel, and they're certainly putting a lot of time and effort. Videos like 3 or 4 videos a week, it looks like at this point, which is pretty fantastic. What else would you say about this?
Yeah, I really like the thumbnails, but they can always use work. The biggest work I would say that the thumbnails could use is, in general, I think they're very good. The faces are big, they're exciting, energetic. You know, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of emotion. So I would say fundamentally they're good. What I would do is your midtones. So you have shadows, highlights, and midtones on images. Your images small are a little muddy is what it would be called. So you'd want to saturate the colors about 200% more than they are now, so that when the images are really small, like the size of a postage stamp, they will pop harder than other vlogs. Another thing I would do is I would sharpen the images a lot more, because they're a little not sharp right now because they're so small. And then when possible, make sure you're actually using still shots of photography, not stills of the videos, to make these thumbnails, so that you have more detail to make them even that much more crisper.
I think some examples you're saying here, like the muddy ones are kind of maybe this one and this one. Yeah. And then the ones which have more pop are like maybe this ones and whatever. So blue is always a good color to use to contrast.
Yeah, that one's
and this one here as well.
Yeah, so with the natural lighting there, that one's perfect.
It's good examples. And also I will say to the Raising Champions family, one thing you're not using, which I approve of, is text. No text on these, and I think it tells a much better story with your channel. So interesting things going on there. 1,000 subscribers already, so you're building up that audience. It's just what's happened in the background potentially with YouTube. We'll move on now to the next one. I already have my notification next channel bell, and we always like to look at least one fishing channel each week, Jeremy. This one's Sebastian B. David with 30 subscribers, so welcome to the YouTube journey. And what I'm going to say here is that who is the hero of the fishing channel usually? And that tends to be what you caught, and showing that in your thumbnails. And I think the channel banner is a brilliant example of how you would expect the thumbnail to look like, but it's not always transitioned that well into the thumbnails themselves, as it seems to be you ready to throw your line out but not seeing the end result. Whereas I think this one is probably where you want to be going in terms of showing people, first of all, through the search terms, with the Labimba urban fish, if I've said that right, and what you catch there. Jeremy, would you agree with those thoughts, and what could we possibly...
Not only I agree, but if you look at the last 5 videos, the one with the best thumbnail that really shows the catch actually is doubled views.
There was that.
So that it's powerful, right? If you can double your views by making that philosophy of a thumbnail, that much better, maybe you can get 200 or 300 views next video. So
exactly, yeah,
definitely show the fish. There's a lot of phenomenal fishing channels out there, but I would say all in all, your thumbnails are good. I would just fly. It makes sense that you're showing the hero for the last 3 videos is the fly fishing itself, so it makes sense that you're showing fly fishing. But what would be kind of cool is if you could Photoshop like a fish on the end or something, something that the payoff, if you will.
And I think something that we always say about thumbnails, Jeremy, is we often say that your thumbnails are good, But and when we say that, it's like you've got to a certain level, but you're at that certain level where you're, I guess, I'm going to use a cycling reference for some weird reason. You're in a peloton. You're in the mix with everybody else, but there are always just one or two riders who break away. And that's what the focus of everybody's attention is on, isn't it? There's one or two thumbnails that really stand out. And as you say, doubling the views, it'd be good to look at the click-through rate. When you include a fish predominantly on the thumbnail, how much does that affect your click-through rate and in turn the views that you get? Let's move on to the next channel, which is Car Vant. Oh dear, it's not loaded at the thumbnails. Let me try and refresh that. See if we can get some thumbnails on this one. There we go. This channel has 120 subscribers, and it looks as if you are new to this YouTube journey with 4 videos in 4 weeks. So welcome to what is a crazy world here. And interestingly, Jeremy, I look at these videos straight away, and we've got one video that has 5,000 views, and the other two have nowhere near as many views. So what would be the potential suggestion that we might be giving to this user as a new video creator on YouTube?
Double down on the success that you've had so far. So
and why do we suggest that?
We suggest that because some people call this concept YouTube's authority or channel authority, but when YouTube starts sending you a lot of traffic for a specific subject, it seems to be easier to continue to rank for that subject time and time and time again. So if for some reason YouTube has blessed you with 5,000 views on a brand new channel about a Charger 392 Scat Pack, then I would go try to make 10 more videos on chargers. Maybe you can, duplicate those efforts.
Yeah, and I guess the video creator might be asking at this point, well, I've just done a full review on this car. How do I make more videos on it? And mine and Jeremy's response to this would always be, there are always a near infinite number of ways you can look at a topic. And this might be going through the comments of this particular video and saying people are asking a certain question about a particular part of the car, whether it's the engine or how the dashboard works, or like a common problems, and you can sort of jump and go deep into the topic. Jeremy, I know some people like to use YouTube authority. Your phrase for this is 2 inches wide and a mile deep, isn't it? Just unearthing everything you can find out about a particular topic.
I will say I did a lot of consulting with big car channels like Car and Driver Magazine and a few others. And one of the challenges that a Car and Driver Magazine has, for example, that you don't have, is they have to cover every car.
Yeah.
If you covered a specific type of car, like European cars or whatever, a specific type of racing, a specific thing, like Jeep channels are going to do a lot better in general than a generalist channel on cars. So I would really pick and choose either a category of racing or cars, or a genre or a specific car. Like Mustang channels are typically going to do better than a channel about all types of cars. So going 2 inches wide and a mile deep means let's say I was a Jeep channel, I'd make 400 videos on Jeeps, and I would probably become the authority on whatever I'm talking about with Jeeps.
And just to end this topic, this question here, I'm not saying you shouldn't do these 2 videos, but I might consider these as your experimental testing videos, where predominantly you're talking about the Dodge Charger 2019, but at some point the interest is going to start to wane on it. So you want to be testing and feeling what your audience might also react to as well. So if you are going to make 20 videos on a particular car, you may want to have 1 or 2 other videos on these other cars, just to make sure that you're keeping pulse with the car genre in general. One last thing I will say here, Jeremy, this first thumbnail, no text. The second 2 thumbnails have text. Which do you prefer?
I definitely like the green. So think of a thumbnail as a stop sign for people to stop and look at your title. Is your thumbnail good enough for people to stop and look. And in the case of the other two, I would say they're, compared to other car thumbnails on YouTube, it's not that interesting to me. But the green of the car just pops so hard that my brain just goes straight to it. Text isn't the answer most of the time. It really isn't.
So, and I think what Jeremy's also suggesting there is you buy lots of fluorescent paint and paint all of your cars before you take screenshots of them. But you could find maybe a different angle, and I can see the creators using arrows to point at certain things, but the arrow probably needs to be a bit more prevalent in there and pointing maybe specifically at the tire or the headlight or something interesting on it. But yeah, you're right. I think definitely the more of his profile look versus the front-on look is more interesting on the cars. Folks, do let us know in the live stream chat as we move on to our next channel, which is Nick Bricks, a Lego building channel, it looks like here. 25 subscribers, so again, welcome to the YouTube journey. And I think it looks as if we're going to look at this topic on almost every thumbnail here, Jeremy, but go to the beginning ones, look at the text that's on here from all of these, like what is your eye focusing on when I show you that thumbnail and that thumbnail, and then we go to the top here and we look at these thumbnails where there is no text, and what is your eye focusing on? It's focusing on the bus or this Lego-shaped burger, which is really fascinating. I think that's another really good illustration of using less is more in the graphical sense of getting people to, as you say, Jeremy, stop swiping through what they're browsing.
Yeah, I really like the hamburger one. In that case, I would make the hamburger twice as large, so you can see that its Legos a little better. I really like the bus example and having the actual bus, box behind it. Really brilliant logo. Love the claw ride build, but all the ones you're using text on, I just don't think that it really adds value.
Yeah. It's such a contrast here, is it? It shows you how well most channels could do without any text.
Exactly.
In terms of the content, I think what I might be looking at here is how, again, I know I say this every week, but how can you tie one cultural phenomenon into your topics? And you've got a good example here of like this Lego Spider-Man Far From Home stop build. That would have been brilliant if you'd done that video about 4 weeks ago when the film first came out. So if you want to tie it into movies or things that are going on in the world, then just try and get your timings right. And I think the thumbnail could be a little better on that one because it's too zoomed out. Probably need to focus on something a little bit there, because there are a lot of Lego channels out there. Now, something that's really interesting about this channel, Jeremy, which the only way I can show you this is if I quickly play a video, is this person does a stop motion build of the Lego. So sometimes you see time lapse where you're seeing hands sort of shoot everywhere and everything, but this guy literally, and I'll quickly play it here. I'll mute the sound, but if I go midway through, look at how interesting this is. Almost feels like one of those ASMR type things, but like another visual one where he must be putting each brick on each brick in place and then taking a shot. And that I know Lego stuff takes hours to build anyway. Adding this sort of visual element to it must mean it takes forever to do, but it looks fantastic, doesn't it?
It really does. Now, one thing they actually did incorrectly is stop motion should be 2 words according to YouTube and Google.
Yes. So you're now looking here at how you can better, because if we just look at the channel, you don't necessarily realize it is stop motion in most. I mean, right. I'm not sure how many of these are stop motion, but I think including stop motion in your titles is going to have a better way of communicating it. And maybe, we've done here like these versus ones. We could have 2 images where it's partially built and then fully built. That might help with the stop motion aspect of it. Or you might need to have some certain blocks that are like almost shooting in. I'm trying to work out how the video creator could visually tell a story of stop motion in their thumbnails. And
could you
any
type
thoughts
in
on that?
Lego stop motion?
Yeah, sure, I can.
Definitely to this creator, we want to inspire you. Now, there's a channel with 1.3 million subscribers that does this.
Yeah.
Look at that thumbnail, the pink thumbnail there. Look how powerful the shark attack thumbnail is with 3.7 million views. So if I was to show you thumbnails that are working the best in the world for the word Lego stop motion, I would show you these. These are phenomenal. They're zoomed in, they're very colorful, they're sharp, they're crisp, they're exciting. That shark one, just phenomenal. So up your thumbnail game to the level that your competitors are using.
So I was just thinking, when we were just quickly looking at stop motion one, let's see if we can find that certain bit where I'm sure they had a bit where Spider-Man came in. You could almost, with the web, I'm trying to get it right. It's almost like you want to zoom in on your thumbnail to that, almost like that, but obviously get it, sharpen it, get it a really cool thumbnail, but maybe that's going to be more powerful than the current thumbnail, which looks like that. That's what we're suggesting, I think, there to a video creator, really to do a much better job of telling the story. But with all that being said, we look at the channel with 26 subscribers, new to YouTube, building, and they're already doing some very interesting and exciting things with their content. And this, I feel as if this has a potential, if it gets it right, if it gets the messaging right, if it gets the branding and the thumbnails right, it could be a channel with thousands of subscribers, tens of thousands of subscribers in the next year or so.
Just always add Lego stop motion to every one of your titles.
Boom, there we are. That's Jeremy's forthright tip on that channel. As we move on to another trending area of YouTube here, acrylic pouring, and another one where I think a lot of people are sort of interested in how the colours and the designs and everything all sort of mix and merge together. This channel is called Life is Kumquat, 122 subscribers here. And yeah, what do we make of this one, Jeremy? As I just sort of scroll through the thumbnails of this channel.
I would say the newer thumbnails are really good. They're, they're very colorful and fun. And my daughters and my wife actually do this type of art. So cool. I know of a lot of the channels that they watch. And this is a tough, you would not believe how much competition is.
Yeah, it's blown up really quickly, hasn't it? In a short space of time.
It really has, but looking at your last 10 videos, I think your channel looks as good as channels with 100,000 subscribers.
Yeah, so is it a case now of maybe the video creator needs to just decide, like the smouldering firewood, that one sort of works maybe a little bit better than the other ones? Is it maybe I need to do like fire style acrylic ones? You can almost find like your subgenre within acrylic pouring.
You can even do like, I would even consider doing pop culture pouring.
Oh, interesting.
Like make one like the theme of a movie background or something, or something else that's happening in pop culture, Women's Month, or whatever it is coming up in the world. I would do that as well. But another thing, I think the biggest opportunity you have right now is just really understanding the search intent of what people are searching for. So Rob, if you don't mind, could we type in, I guess, acrylic pouring would be the main keyword, and let's see what term they really should be using here.
Jeremy, for you, I never mind doing any type of search on YouTube as long as it's safe. Okay, let's have. Well, I'm going to say that thumbnail there sticks out to me straight away because there's motion in that one, and the colors are really beautiful.
To actually show the pour happening in your thumbnail is really important if you're trying to rank for acrylic pouring. So basically people want to feel like they're at the right place at the right time. So if they're looking for how to acrylic pour for beginners, and you actually see your hand pouring and a cool design, then they'll be more likely to know they're at the right place at the right time.
Boom. Yeah, I think I definitely agree with that one, Jeremy. Let's just quickly scan through. So there is an example here. I'd say it kind of gets it right, but it's just maybe it needs to be zoomed in a little bit so we can see the pouring in this one down here in the bottom right hand corner, but we don't necessarily see a real pop in colors.
And in this case, acrylic paint pouring should be the first thing, and what you're painting should be second.
Yeah, good stuff. Now, one last question I want to ask you about this, Jeremy, and I think this crops up a lot in some of the channels I've been selecting this morning, is look at the title. We can see this pipe character, and I think I've been asked this on Twitter as well. Does that affect search intent?
Back like 6-7 years ago, YouTube actually told me that it did. It does not anymore, but why don't you replace the pipe with an emoji?
Yeah, or a hyphen, just a tag. I'm suggesting this now. I could be completely wrong about this, but this has been cropping up a little bit. Should I use a pipe, a hyphen, or what? So, as Jeremy says, maybe try an emoji, something colourful, because I think an emoji is probably going to serve a better purpose than a pipe or a hyphen. Do try those two things. We'll move on to the next channel, which is Windy City Twins. Welcome to YouTube. As I can see, you've been posting for around about a month here. You have 20 subscribers, and you are YouTube tips. So you're in the same game as us. Social media strategy, building an online presence. My first question to you, Jeremy, would be, does that sound a little bit too wordy, a little bit too much for such a channel? Maybe we need to, can we like turn this into something with a bit more value propositions, a bit more punchliney?
Yeah, it's very complicated. I still don't even know what "as we learn, you earn" means compared to what. So you should answer 2 questions in a banner and in every one of your videos and your primal branding messaging. And that is, what is your channel about? And why does that matter to me specifically? It doesn't mean why does it matter? It means you have to connect to a human, personally. Yeah. So up here, I would say something like YouTube tips for small businesses. So I don't know. I don't know what it would be.
It's funny, isn't it? We always suggest you need to make it more punchy. And it's like, we can't think of that in about 5 seconds.
Well, the reason we can't get like perfect with it is because we don't know this creator, we don't know the background.
And it is, and this is difficult. Getting your message and your value proposition sometimes takes a while. I mean, for me to come up with on vidIQ educating your YouTube journey, that took me at least about a year to come up with, and I'm even not 100% satisfied with that. I still think it could be tweaked and made better. But I think this as a channel, I think it is almost trying to tell us too much. And it's not letting the viewer maybe join the dots and get it themselves. I think that's replicated a little bit in the thumbnails as well, where they're just trying to tell us everything. Where, for example, this one here, social media overlays, you could probably just have one of these overlays as on a screen with maybe an arrow pointing to it, and the title will do the job of telling you what's going to go on in a video potentially. Yeah. Regarding that. So yeah, maybe messaging, branding, and I think this is a good example of where there's far too much text on the thumbnails. These wouldn't make me stop scrolling because they're too complicated, I think, for me to look at. And I guess another thing, Jeremy, is here, the channel is maybe trying to do too much in terms of, we've got how to record an iPhone screen here. One of my favorites, that topic. But then social media overlays there, Instagram live break app, time lapses, how to translate your YouTube titles. I think maybe what is going to be the main focus of your channel to build an audience to begin with. Would you agree there?
Yeah, in 2019, social media is big. I would just talk about Instagram tips or YouTube tips. And beyond that, let's just talk about YouTube tips. There's about 40 channels like vidIQ that do a really good job helping people become better YouTube creators. And, you have vidIQ and Nick Nimmin and Daryl Eves. There's a lot of great channels there. So if I was going to start a YouTube channel on helping video creators, I would even niche down farther than that.
I agree.
2019. I would even just talk about thumbnails or just talk about, storytelling, because there's just so much. Now, you can always expand what you teach, but to begin with, I would just try to focus in and really dominate search and suggested for a specific group of videos.
And I think how you branch out is that you say you started your channel, and this is how I got my first 10 subscribers, by doing videos about social media overlays. I was really specifically focusing on how creators can better communicate their messages in a subtle way that doesn't interfere with the content with these lower thirds. And that's how I got my first 20 subscribers. And then I built it to 100 subscribers because I branched out a little bit from there. I was then talking about how to directly speak to the audience about getting them more engaged in the content and how that brings in more subscribers. So I think doing it, as you say, Jeremy, sort of building a story around a particular niche in the YouTube growth area would be good. And I guess the one thing that you're going to be challenged with, and even we get challenged with, is right now with 374,000 subscribers. Like, what do you know about YouTube when some of your videos only get a few thousand views? And like, you might have the same challenge where if you've got 20 subscribers, why should I follow you? And I think the response should always be back to, I'm following this is my journey, and if you want to be involved in this journey and see me prove to not only myself but to the YouTube community that I can grow a channel doing this, then you'll build like a hardcore community of people who follow your stuff. So Windy City Twins, a good luck with your YouTube journey, helping YouTube creators. Now I'm probably going to have a look at how to do these lower thirds, because I used to do them on vidIQ and then I gave up for some reason, so I think maybe I need to look at some of those tutorials to teach me how to do it again. As we move on to another drawing channel, this one is Drawing for Beginners by Harmony Otto Mensa, 200 subscribers here, so congratulations on your breakthroughs there. Jeremy, what are we looking at here with this channel? It's quite a kind of interesting drawing up there. Is it actually a fork in spaghetti, or does it just look like it because it's such a good drawing?
Yeah, it's really cool. It's like the spaghetti hair.
Yeah, I'm being drawn to that image for some reason. Anyway, what are we looking at here with the thumbnails and the channel in general?
So it's definitely how to draw stuff, which is a good focus. The thumbnails are very decent. It looks like I'm learning how to draw. I really like the banner. I think it's intriguing. Creativity can always beat rules. And what I mean by that is we have these ideas of what's been working for our customers in the past, and, and ourselves and vidIQ users. But creativity can always overturn rules. So like the spaghetti hair image at the top is just really cool. And even Rob was like, oh, that's intriguing. Is that real spaghetti? Is it not? Is it drawing? Very, very neat. So don't be afraid to get overly creative, especially if you're doing work for creatives like drawing.
Yeah.
Now, I would say something like how to draw Billie Eilish is great. It's a great video. What I would like to help this person with is, what could have we done a little better for this? So can you actually copy how to draw Billie Eilish, and then let's see.
Yes, sir.
Because I'm guessing there's going to be a video with 500,000 views for this. I'm guessing. Or at least there's one with 100,000.
Nearly 100,000 views, and a couple of these. Yep.
So that's pretty interesting. And do you see how the thumbnails are honestly just a little bigger? Like the faces themselves are bigger. It's pretty interesting.
A little cleaner. A little more zoomed in, a little sharper. And there's one here, as you say, we talk about creativity. This one here is really intriguing, where half the face is sort of drawn and coloured in. That one, I'm drawn to that one.
And that has 782,000 views.
That one does, yeah. So yeah, I think this like this before and after seems to be quite strong, where it's before they've coloured in the one there. So, like you say, Jeremy, it's just getting it to the next level, isn't it? Just making that a little better. Probably getting rid of that text, because people are going to know who this person is from the thumbnail without seeing the text, and that allows you to zoom in your image and this image here and so on. I think one question I would also ask here as well is, it's drawing for beginners, but is there a certain type of drawing? Is it with? It looks to be with crayons, or is it felt tip pens? I don't know if there's maybe a style that you need to add there. And I would be just getting rid of text, all of the text on all of your thumbnails. I don't think it serves any purpose on any of your thumbnails as I'm looking at them there.
I really agree with drawing videos. Just all about the drawing itself. And like Rob said, you should probably have something to do with how to draw, and then the type of drawing you're doing. So if it's crayons or inks or chalks, whatever the tool is, and then the subject.
Yeah. So I think some of these as well are maybe like freeze frames from the thumbnails as well. Just going back to the search that we did. Whoops, where have I gone? Oh, I seem to have completely lost myself there. I've managed to break that screen somehow. Whoops. So let me just do that again. It was drawing, how to draw. Oh, is everyone still here? Can you still hear me? My internet just went for a second. Jeremy, still there? Oh, I may have lost Jeremy. I hope I'm still live at this point. Folks, just let me know. Says I'm fine. I seem to have lost Jeremy. I hope Jeremy's going to be able to join us here. But yeah, I was just looking at these thumbnails here where there seems to have been a lot of time taken to really get a clean shot of the thumbnails, and whether that's through taking the image separately and so on, that's how you do it. Jeremy, are you back now?
I'm back.
I'm back. I'm sorry about that. I think my internet went out for a second, but we are back. I was just finishing off the comment about how the thumbnails seem a lot cleaner, and maybe they're not freeze frames from the person that we're talking about when we're taking the images. We'll move on to the next channel, which is Cats and the Quee Jack. 500 subscribers. As I look at this channel initially, it feels to me like a children's puppet type channel looking at this, but for some reason I'm not quite sure. Jeremy, do you feel the same way, or does it seem clear to you what this channel is about? Something just felt a little off with how the communication of the channel was going with me, but I might be wrong. I might just not have seen what was obvious in these videos and thumbnails.
Yeah, I mean, the primary colors make it pretty easy that it's it's about cats, and it's a kids channel. What is difficult from a visual perspective is because your subjects are white, you can't really distinguish their features.
Yeah, especially on the white desktop background that we have here. I mean, in dark mode, it's probably going to look a little better.
It almost looks like clouds or something. You can't really even see the characters. So honestly, like, that's going to be a problem for you with your videos and with your thumbnails, is being able to show your characters while they're all white. It's actually very difficult to see the characters.
So it looks as if in this one instance then, that type of thumbnail would be more effective, where you can create a contrast. So we've got a darker background, but still with like a nice color, but it contrasts really well with the white puppet in there. So that might be a good way going forward with your thumbnails. Again, the question of text, folks in the live stream, do you think that this channel should be using text in their thumbnails, or should the thumbnail do the job of saying whether this is growing or whether these are blossoms, that type of thing? I would again maybe be thinking about less text or no text in these.
Yeah, and what's the age of the people watching? I mean, they can't even read.
Yeah. Demographic is a good question there, isn't it, Jeremy?
You have a lot of videos on growing stuff, but you don't have a theme in the titles on growing stuff. So I would try to group these series together and really find a way to not talk about everything. So right now, from Christmas to BattleBot Broncos to, you're just doing so many things. Most successful kids channels that aren't vlogs, family vlogs, really do like kids songs or nursery rhymes or, surprise toys. They do a very specific thing, and I honestly believe it's going to be very hard to grow. unless you specify, really what you do and what kids are going to learn or be entertained from what you do.
That is Cats and the Quee Jack channel there. And we're going to move on to volatility trading, which again hasn't loaded up my thumbnails. I must have had some real internet connections when I was loading up this channel, so let me just refresh that. 300 subscribers for this channel, and my only assumption can be that this is about stocks trading, financial trading, that type of thing. As we scroll down, folks, what are you seeing a lot of here as I scroll down? It is a text wall, I would say. Are my eyes being drawn to any of the graphs or any like numbers or dollar signs or a Bitcoin icon which I might be drawn to on such a channel? And the answer is no, I think. Too much text on this channel again. This seems to be a big thing this week, Jeremy, doesn't it? And the fact that they're using the same text almost in a lot of these small account live day trading. Is that required? How could we fix this for this channel, Jeremy?
So do me a favor and type in day trading, and let's look at some of the best videos that actually rank for day trading.
Let's have a look at some of the competition here and see if there are good things going on.
I've done a lot of consulting with day trading type of YouTube channels, and most of them aren't very good.
Yeah, you're right.
But I will say that chart, the black chart, that candle chart right there, is honestly some of the best click-through rates, because people that are day traders want to see charts.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
So like that day trading, shorting the downtrend, too much text, but it's pretty good.
Yeah, I think this is an area where there is a lack of really good thumbnails that we're seeing here. So this is definitely a young topic, I would say, in terms of promoting and presenting your channels. I think this is always something that people are going to want to see, isn't it? A graph, and then maybe whether there was a lot of a loss or a profit. That's what's going to make you stop scrolling, isn't it? The fact that I can earn money from this video that I'm watching. And I know that we're bringing that down to the lowest common denominator of people want to save time or earn money, but you're a channel all about doing that, and these thumbnails don't necessarily reflect that, I would say. Agreed.
And then in general, your titles are probably not long enough for you to rank, being a smaller channel.
So yeah, I mean, what do you think? Day trading is a good keyword to use here, or do we feel as if
trading live specifically is the keyword? I'm not sure. I mean, I really haven't done a lot of day trading keyword research, but there's probably a specific thing you're talking about. You're obviously showing the stock.
Yeah.
Talking about. In this case, I'm not sure. I just know that being a small channel, it's going to be near impossible to rank for a lot of these terms.
So we need to, I guess, what we need to find, what the viewer, the user, the person who's going to perhaps subscribe to the channel, what they need to know is perhaps what type of stocks they might be trading in, or if they're in sort of in terms of terminology that is used that the creator can get a little more specific about. I'm just having a look at the about section here, which might help us. I guess financial freedom, that could be a good one to use. It's kind of a little more generic to reach out to the audience potentially. This is just one where we don't have the knowledge really, do we, to start recommending perhaps precise search terms that we could use for the channel. But I think first of all, the thumbnails definitely need completely tweaking, I would say.
Absolutely.
All right, Jeremy, we're going to move on to the next channel here, which is Stephen Conrad Jr., Philly Fanatic. So I think a lot of channels that talk about sports sometimes have a problem defining who their audience is going to be. But I think from the titles, from the thumbnails, and from the channel banner, you know exactly what this channel's about within 5 to 10 seconds, which is something that a lot of sports channels really seem to struggle with. It's about sports teams in Philadelphia, I assume, from the teams that we see there. And I think the channel is pushing out a lot of content. Like in the last day, they've made 5 videos and even made one in the last 12 minutes, which is incredible. Now, Jeremy, I know one thing you might be asking in here is this all just highlights from sporting events involving these teams? And I had a quick look on some of these videos, and it looks as if the video creator is actually just talking to the audience and they're giving their thoughts. It's almost like a fan channel, so not trying to do copyright things and get content that way. So I think there's some potentially good things going on here, but what do we think we could help suggest to the channel creator to just try and build them a little bit? Because I've got 800 subscribers, so we've already built up an audience, but some of the views are like in the hundreds and then others are in the dozens. What's going potentially a little awry with the content that they're pushing out?
I would say, just really got to up your thumbnail game. Really just study how successful channels are doing thumbnails and just really invest your time to really learn thumbnail design at a very high level. That thumbnail is for your channel is going to be one of the very most important things you do. Yeah. Secondly, I would say that you're really going to have to up your title game. I don't think there's a clear reason to click typically on your video versus one of your competitors' videos. And I'm not sure that you're actually using the intent of search that someone would search for about the Philadelphia Eagles training camp.
And yeah, when I look at some of these potential titles, I'm thinking it's almost like a newspaper headline where somebody signs an agent. Maybe you could turn that into a question like, is whoever this person is, Jonathan Cyprian, I probably said his name right, but maybe it's like, is Jonathan Cyprian right for the Philadelphia Eagles? ? And that has a bit more of intrigue potentially for a viewer who's going to be looking to click on something like this. And I don't often suggest this, Jeremy, but do you think maybe this creator is making too much content? They might want to try and narrow things down to put 3 or 4 of these videos into a bit of a longer compilation, like do one video a day, perhaps on what's happening with the Eagles, and then something that's happening with the Phillies or whatever, or maybe I'm wrong about that.
I would say that better titles, better thumbnails, even if you just did 1 video a week, focusing in on answering questions people are asking about these teams and making something that's clickable would tenfold your views. So in this case, I do not think it's as bad as much. It's not about how many videos you do. It's making videos people want to click on.
All right, there we are, Stephen Conrad. Now, I'm going to just quickly try and jump forward here because there is another channel which is very similar to this, but is really crushing it right now. Can I just find it? Where did it go? I'm trying to find it. Here we are. Right. So here's another channel, Jeremy. Very similar. And I'm so love to do this channel because I hate Manchester United with a passion, as do many football supporters. But this channel, The United Man, 2,500 subscribers. Now, the interesting thing here is look at the view counts, folks, on these videos. 40,000, 16,000, 16,000, 22,000. This channel is bringing in a lot of traffic for the size of their channel. And I assume it's because they're posting maybe a video one every day, roughly it looks like here, but they're jumping on the particular topics, and it's all about one club as well, so it's not all of the clubs in a city, it's about one club, and I think that's going to really funnel your audience a lot stronger in that sense. But yeah, this channel seems to be crushing it, Jeremy. And again, I've looked at the content. It's not just highlights or anything. It's actually the person talking to camera about these topics, and they seem to be doing really well from it. Yeah, any general thoughts about the channel? I know the thumbnails are maybe a little bit samey. We can get onto that in a second, but what do you think?
I really like the team. They're really good. No, I'm just kidding with you.
Yeah, right, whatever.
I don't know anything about soccer. No, I think the thumbnails are great. In this case, the consistency of the thumbnails does work quite well. A little too much text, but I think it's great. I think everything about it's great.
Yeah, and what I'm going to do is quickly click on this for a second, and something that was...
Hello, welcome to the...
Let me just pause that. I just want to find a really interesting bit in one of his videos. Where did it go? That. So he almost turns it into like a sports channel where it has all of these graphics on screen. And that's what I think gives this channel a bit of unique identity to it. Really like seeing it. This almost looks like a sports channel where you're finding out all of the like stats on there, and he can add sort of commentary on it. And I think that's what you're providing like a personal opinion value and connecting with all the other Manchester United fans out there, but you're also adding something really interesting graphically, appealing to the audience there. Any more thoughts about that there, Jeremy, as we just look at one of the videos specifically?
Yeah, I mean, so Gary V has a really awesome video I saw yesterday, and he calls this DJing. So you have other people's content that's not your content that is theoretically illegal to use on your YouTube channel. But the more that you DJ it and make it your own and add commentary, the more you're able to give true value to this sports team, the better people are going to like it, and the least likelihood of YouTube and Instagram being mad at you. So Evan Carmichael is, according to Gary V, the master, at this. DJing content is what it's called. And I would just really look up what, Gary V DJ content, and look at Evan Carmichael and really study how you can use other people's content and not get in trouble.
And just to finish off with this channel, started a couple of months ago, and look at the thumbnails to begin with, and look at how many views we're getting.
Yeah.
And then
20.
The evolution within the space of 2 months. I mean, I think these thumbnails can get even better, but proof that in a probably quite a crowded genre of sports analysis, commentary, opinion pieces, you can still build up a channel very quickly, even if he's talking about one of the most hated teams in the United Kingdom. And you don't really understand why that is the case. If I was going to try and make an American comparison, Jeremy, the Manchester United are like the New England Patriots. They just win everything, so they're generally disliked. Although Manchester United don't win as much anymore. So, but good luck with spending 80 million quid on an average defender. Controversial. We'll move on before I get myself into any more trouble there. We're going to look at Perry Comics here with 650 subscribers. And just as I look at the, not necessarily the channel banner, because I think that's quite effective, but I look at the thumbnails here, Jeremy. What's your first thought as I look at these thumbnails?
It's just busy.
Yeah.
Obviously
right
it's about something to do with superheroes. Another thing I immediately see is too much text, kind of busy. I don't really know what's going on, but also with the titles themselves, I don't know what's going on. So how would YouTube know who to send to your channel based on watch history? And then how would people know why they should watch your channel?
I think you're absolutely right there. The moment you look at these thumbnails, even if it is about comics, it's like, I'm not really sure what's going on here. I'm going to move on to the next thumbnail. You've lost the potential viewer in those 3 to 5 seconds of them looking at the thumbnail. So I think absolutely, I would say this, look at your thumbnails and make them 80% simpler than what they currently are. And you will notice a huge dramatic impact on just how clear they are and how they're able to communicate a better story to your audience. I'm going to speed up a little bit here because we haven't got too much long left. So I hope Perry Comics, I'm sorry we didn't look at your channel for too long, but trying to focus on the biggest thing to improve there. The next channel we're going to look at here is Logan Harvarth Designs. So I think this is a channel that looks at making unique, colourful jewellery designs here, Jeremy. I know, Jeremy, one of your most favourite videos in the entire world is about somebody making or carving or crafting a ring, if I'm correct there. So if we look at
can we look at that channel real quick?
Okay, what's it called then?
I don't know the channel, but type in nut NUT ring RANG.
Like that, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
it's Pablo.
Pablo,
guy,
yeah.
isn't it?
Click on Pablo's channel here. This is honestly my favorite YouTube channel right now. I don't give a crap about jewelry, by the way. But the way he does his jewelry, his thumbnails, look at those thumbnails. Why do I love those thumbnails so much?
Because they're simple, no text, and a lot of them have a moment of some sort of action where inserting the tiniest of gems and stones into a ring. That would be my answer.
And they're also just pretty. You know, they have a lot of contrast, and they're just nice rings. And the I would say that this is one of the best cinematographers on YouTube right now. The way he does everything is just so beautiful. There's no words. If you want to really take off, then I would honestly borrow a lot of the philosophies from the titles to the thumbnail design to how he does videos. This guy just took off. He didn't even have 1 million subscribers a few months ago, and now he's at 2 million.
Essentially, we don't want this, do we? We want that. We want that, and perhaps potentially the making element of it as well to really help with selling the video.
Zero text.
Yeah. That's our tips for you there, Logan Half Designs. And one thing I would also add is, I love the fact that you're now trying to tie in cultural phenomenon. Harry Potter, nice idea. Maybe the timing is just not quite right because there's nothing going on in the Harry Potter world potentially. So think about maybe Star Wars that's coming up in December, or anything else in that sort of area, which is going to have a lot of jewelry designs and things that are going on in that world. All right, we'll move on again. Gaming Pro Brothers, 2,500 subscribers here. I think I'll take the lead on this one, Jeremy. This is basically what I'm going to say on this one. Super Mario Kart Circuits, The Best Jokers, Cooking Simulator, Mario Kart 64, Wolfenstein, Mario Kart 64, Stranger Things, Human Fell Flat, Totally Reliable, is that a game? I'm not sure. Super Mario Kart, Stranger Things. There's so many different topics going on in your channel there that, yes, I love Mario Kart. Okay, good, I've seen another one. What's this about? This seems to be something completely different. There's a lot of topic jumping here, which is confusing me. And you're looking at retro games, but you're also looking at Stranger Things, which must be a very new, popular game. So I would think that your audience is probably getting really confused as to what your content is, like from game to game. So I would think about maybe niching down into a particular game for a series that goes on for a week or two and then moving on to something else, or discovering that your audience is reacting really well to one particular game and sticking with that, with experiments here and there for the other content. Jeremy, agreeing with that, or any other thoughts?
I agree with everything.
And one final thing, I don't know. What do you think about the left side logo there? Should we keep that, or do you think that needs to go there? Because we talk about branding and consistency, but I'm never quite sure that the sliver down the left hand side as a logo works too well.
It used to work quite well, but it's kind of not really working anymore, based on the multivariate tests I ran last year. Just because people are used to seeing it, so you kind of don't see it. It's like you get used to seeing something, like you see a billboard in your town for 2 years, you've probably only looked at it twice.
All right, there we go. And we're going to look here at Life Ladder. Life skills, educational, mental health, physical health. I just want your opinions, Jeremy, on this channel as you look at it for the first time. Like, and what I'm thinking about here when I look at this channel is the topic versus how that message is communicated visually. What do you think?
It confuses me.
Yeah, it did now. Now, why is that? Is it because the colors suggest
color psychology?
Yeah. Okay, so Jeremy, you know a lot more about this. So this is in my head, but I don't know how to explain it. So go ahead.
So I want to take mental health and this guy pretty serious, because, you know, I mean, I think all of us have depression or anxiety or something in our lives, right? We all like suffer with the human condition.
Yeah.
So I, on one hand, appreciate the consistency of the thumbnails and the bright colors, but on the other hand, I actually, from a psychological perspective, what green and pink and yellow mean, um, do not really convey trust to me.
Yeah.
And so I kind of dismiss, like mentally, I immediately dismissed this person as someone that could help me with my anxiety, for example.
Yeah,
And
almost like a credibility question, isn't it? It's like,
Right.
is this guy being serious, or is it going to be more comedic style ones? And I quickly looked at one of those videos to find out, and it does seem like really serious, genuine, sincere content. So it just feels as if the thumbnails are sending a wrong message.
And even if, like, let's say these are fairly feminine colors for a guy, who cares about that? That's not what we're talking about. What we're talking about is credibility for a serious subject. You can have fun as well. You could be the comedian of mental health. That's fine too. But this particular, I wonder, what others think, but I wouldn't have clicked on those new thumbnails myself.
Yeah, and we'll stress here, this is one of those where it's based on first impressions. So we might be misinterpreting, misjudging this channel, but that's what we're doing because we're viewers and we want to know what we want to watch within seconds. And if it takes a little bit of working out, and we're maybe not taking this channel seriously when it seems to be a serious channel, that might be something to look at from the video creator's perspective. All right, and we now have Retro Crafts Games. I think this is a channel where they look at retro games and maybe create some sort of, I think, a lot of dioramas. So really niche stuff going on here, Jeremy, on this channel. I think it's an interesting concept in terms of taking something of cultural interest and relevance and adding a completely new spin on it by almost creating, not merch, but interesting designs and shapes and items. What do you think about the thumbnails? That's what I wanted to ask you about, Jeremy, here. Like, can you work out... it should be a case of when you look at a channel, even if you don't understand anything about the topic, you should be able to understand what it's about. And I'm not sure if this is coming off strongly for someone like yourself, Jeremy, who's maybe not into video games that much. It's like, what am I looking at here?
Yeah, I mean, I would say that I don't really know what the videos are. It also almost looks like you're taking pictures of the screens with your cell phone or something. It just looks really strange, like the way the design is, the muddy colors and stuff like that. The too much text. There's really, like, I don't know what's happening in the game.
I think this one's a good example where I think the picture's all right, but again, it's just your eyes are just drawn to the text, aren't they? We want to see this. I can quickly play this video just to give you an idea again.
I actually like Zelda, but I wouldn't click on that thumbnail.
Okay. All right, let me just go to the end here. Which is your favorite Zelda game, by the way?
I don't know.
Great. Obviously, yeah, Jeremy, big fan of Zelda. All right, so let me turn off the music. Okay, so this is what the end thing. It's like an image diorama type of thing, and this is like the world map of the game. And so, is that conveyed accurately enough in a thumbnail to see what we're looking at?
I don't think it is.
You don't think it is, yeah. I go back to there. It's like we need to probably get rid of that text and just make it zoomed in. I think, and sell that item, the hero, more than anything else. And here we have a family channel again, Taylor Tadpoles. So if we go back to the very first channel we looked at here, was it this one? No, I think I may have deleted it off. Where was it? Okay, here it is. So this was the first family channel, Rising Champions versus Taylor's Tadpoles. Which do you think is a family channel and has the strongest message? Jeremy, what else do you think? Go.
I kind of think it's a good channel. I like it. Confuses the banner confuses me because I think for a slight second that it's two families.
I see. It's almost like I'm
like, wow, they have like 47 kids. So like, I would not repeat your family because that looks weird.
Just this first one here. When you mentioned that, I didn't think of it like that, but yeah,
it looked like, I was like, how many? When I first saw it, I was like, how many wives and fathers are there in this family? So I would just not repeat yourself. But other than that, I think the thumbnails are quite good. They have the 3 E's: eyes, excitement, emotion, expression, engagement. The bodies are separated from the background so that they do become the heroes. You can see the whites of the eyes. I would remove most of the text. I don't think that it really helps you very much. But all in all, I say good job. I think the titles in general are doing well. Until you get to 10,000 or 100,000 subscribers, I would use words like family vlog
Okay.
in the title so that someone has a reason to click or find you.
And there we have it, folks. That concludes this week's wonderful, interesting adventure into the world of your channels. As always, I do apologize that we couldn't get more channels audited this week, but we try and go into depth on some of the channels to talk about broader topics, which we always do every single week. If you didn't get your channel audited this week, there is always, and I'm crossing my fingers here, always next week, because we may have a very special live stream next week. It's all going to depend on the tech, but you may have multiple guests all in the same room having fun looking at your channels as we're getting the band back together. I'm gonna say like that. Jeremy, can you read out a few people who've been watching this live stream and thank you as we say goodbye today?
I sure can. So, wow, there's people going too fast. I want to thank all the moderators. You do it, Lily, Magdalene, Travis, a lot of the employees here at vidIQ. Thank you guys so much. Paul Peck, you are awesome. Thank you guys so much for taking your time, which is the most valuable asset in the world, in my opinion, and giving it to us every week. You guys are awesome, and we really appreciate you.
I think every time I go to Jeremy and say, can you read out some usernames, in his head he's going, oh, no, can't do it, it's too hard. I'm going to try now. Life by Ashley, CMR Custom. We've got Dragonflyer, Mr. Nemo Stash, CMR Custom. I've already said that one. Kids Like Vinny. Dr. Sten is also here. Thank you and congratulations for 100,000 subscribers, Dr. Sten. I just recently saw that on your channel. Very well done. Drawing for Beginners, Brit, Rogue, Scholar, Dream Cars, Corn Wolf, Slavgard, Felix the Dev, Gerrit D, Happiness, Happenstance Furniture and Sundries, Artist Heaven. That's the longest username I've said today. And Cross Jumps. Thank you, all of you, for spending the most important currency in the world, in my opinion, with us, and that is time. We hope you repaid you with some value, and we will see you very soon here on vidIQ. In the meantime, enjoy the rest of your video making day. It's time to wave uncomfortably at the camera, Jeremy, and we'll see you all hopefully next week. Bye for now.
Bye.